What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I got a pretty simple chart up for you. I'm going to get rid of my VWAPs here. You could just trade those alone practically, but nothing too concerning right now. Basically just ranging. So what you can see here is the .25, which was where we were looking to get long based on yesterday's video. We mentioned 42 would be resistance. Got a good sell-off there, but ultimately we are looking at this chart here. Sorry, I was tinkering with the RSI just a little bit. We had this box of goodness. It was your 1.382 to 1.414. We identified a while back. You can see that we still have not formally closed over this 1.382 at 40,925. So that's the level I want to see regained. I think if we regain 40,925, can get back above it, I do think we'll eventually make our way to this 1414 here at 43,438. Remember, these are log scale fibs. You could turn the log off and they're just as valid. You can see the 2.272 here and then the 2.382 coming in just above. So I'm just using log because I prefer to use log for this. It's a reverse fork that I had made and it's been getting things really, really well. And we've shown it several times on this channel. And the reason I'm highlighting it first is if we go down to the hourly, before we look too much at this, we'll look at this here. And what you're going to notice is if we turn on our previous day data, you can see the previous day point of control coming in at the daily open right now. You can also see the previous day value area low getting this range really nicely, and then the highs right here getting it very nicely. So you could have just traded this range as a range until it's not, and done quite well. Even on this last move here, it's just bouncing off the median of the range or the .133 of this overall fib pool. Now, what else is down here at the bottoms? Right at these bottoms, if we come in here and we zoom into like the hourly, for instance, you'll notice there is your 382 that we were above trying to get into this region, right? We have our 382 fork right here, and you can see that it's just holding this on the lows, not closing beneath. It's been regarded as both support and resistance and is now being regarded as potentially support for a double bottom. We'll see if this gets follow through as it's already back tested the structure. And we'll see what we get. Now, any kind of closure into this region on like a 4-hour basis, I am looking for the potential to move up because you can see that we tried getting in here and then we've been knocking at the door but haven't quite got in. So if this is able to get into this region, I am expecting to make that move into the 43,438 region. The only thing I would say be wary of is, like, obviously anytime that you're taking the highs, watch for a swing failure pattern, but I'd be more inclined to, say we're going to get to those targets that we've been talking about at 43,438. So if you've been watching the channel, we've been doing pretty well. We mentioned 42K due to some Fibonacci pulls from more macro areas before in prior bull runs. But now we are looking into, okay, we've hit that resistance. Can we come back up, knock on that door, and make our move up? Because one thing we did note was these ranges are potentially getting smaller and smaller. You can see that right here as the move is accelerating to the top side. So what that implies is that you want to see continuation sooner rather than later, or you could see not necessarily a macro reversal, but maybe a larger range play out and a reversal to the downside, where we play out a larger range. And that larger range could look like this if we get rid of our previous day data. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the fibs right here. So these are levels that were outlined. If 38.5 did not hold, the yearly R2 right here is also at the 382 at 36,500, give or take, 36.6. And then from there, you have your weekly open coming in at the 618 golden pocket. Now, you do have support here at 30,500, but I would be looking to this area right here as it's the golden pocket and weekly open. Traders will be looking to defend those positions. But you can also see this here, and I discussed this in the group a couple days ago. I said, look, right when this started happening, I said, well, look at this. It's a very nice flat bottom. If we don't push from here and we make our way back down, we need to watch out for like a head and shoulders look. Not much of a pattern trader, especially head and shoulders in this market, but they can happen. So we're just keeping an eye on it. Not actually trading it right now, so just something to be aware of. But in reality, you could have just played this as a range. We do have the weekly volume range being updated right here, so if you just pull from the weekly open to the current price action, you can see that it gets it really, really well. You can see the bottom here coming in just above the weekly open, front running that golden pocket a little bit, with the R2 coming in right here for support. Then there is your median, very well respected. Point of control is the previous day open, and our value area high right here. So what we're looking for is a break of 40,925. If we can break that, I think we make that move to 43,438. And anything above that, and I'm looking to about 46,000, give or take. And we'll look at that macro log channel one more time as we are approaching, I call it peak week, mainly because it's just the symmetrical twin to the other two macro tops that we had in our consolidation after the all-time high. So yeah, I mean, that's how we've been trading it. Very, very simple, guys. It's not rocket science. I mean, you could have just basically traded the previous day volume profile here and done quite well. It got it really, really well. Or you could be trading this larger range looking for the lows at some point because we are at the highs, but I would not hold your breath just because Bitcoin and pullbacks have been few and far between. 4-hour or 1-hour RSI, you know, you've got some resistance coming in here from the highs. So what you're looking for is, if you are an indicator trader, you want to see this turn up and get through this and give you confirmation of the breakout at the same time as the range breaking. If you can get those things, I think that you'll be doing quite well. Yeah, I mean, that's what I've got for you guys. I don't see anything else. This has been a very, very easy and technical trade. Let's take a look at the macro picture for Bitcoin real quick here before we move on. Just as a reminder, this is the 9th of January, so maybe we see that, you know, that move up. This is your macro pull, fib time wise, something I found a while back, which is really nice. Found it after the .25. 382 is well respected. Looking to see what the 414 brings. It's not one of those that I'm putting a whole lot of weight on, but it could provide a pivot point in the market. And this being BLX data, it won't be updated till tomorrow, but that is today. So keeping an eye on that as we go forward here. I do think that I had some trend-based. Yeah, you can see that there's our 2 spot at 42. Oh, I felt like I had something to give you guys here. There's your 3618 with the 4236. Okay, so let's move over to Bitstamp and take a peek at Bitcoin on the... So this is your Bitcoin chart here. We'll switch it over to weekly so you guys can get a good look if you're new to the channel. This is our macro channel, very well respected. We're looking for this golden pocket right here. Let's get rid of these. As you guys can already see, these are just pulled from the all-time high to the 14K high when we hit the 618 and back here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. And this is just tracking the bottoms and the... I'm looking for cycle links to see if there's any more symmetry coming through, because in previous times there definitely was, and there was even symmetry between these peaks right here before we sold off in this peak here. So it was one of those things I just like to keep an eye on. So you can see we're getting really close to this golden pocket. Again, that golden pocket coming in that $44,000 to $43,000 range, depending on the exchange you're using. This is Bitstamp. Anything above that, and you guys know that the yearly R3s are coming in this region. Right, and you guys remember the R3, we've pointed this out, is kind of like straddling the median here at 46. If you were to get there this week, it would just be past the 618 and between that and the 66. Now the 66 does come in at that 4236 area we were talking about, right around 50K. Anything above that, and you have your 702 at about 57. But in reality, I think we're looking between $63,000 and $68,000 if we clear 50K. But neither here nor there, given where the price action is. Those targets are so far away, it's almost pointless to talk about. And that's just kind of your macro look, guys. I mean, this is going to be, in my opinion, this is an important week. Obviously, we've seen quite the acceleration in price, way smaller ranges. The question is this a blow off top, or will this just continue up, up, and up? And, you know, when we look at previous Bitcoin runs, because that's the data we have, we can see we still don't see anything like this to indicate that that is a possibility. Even like this right here, where, you know, you get this big opening red candle just straight down off the weekly open, or here a rejection, or right here again where it just opens up completely red. Big engulfing candle, get some follow through. So we're not seeing anything like that. So until I see a candle like this where we get a nice rejection, a rejection reversal candle, it's hard to be bearish. Even these dojis right here really aren't all that bearish, just because those are just candles of indecision. So one of those things where, Need to kind of keep an eye on the high time frames, but the reversal is going to start on the low time frame, so bear that in mind. That's not saying get on the 1 minute chart. It just means, you know, keep an eye on your medium time frames like the 4 hour, the 12 hour, and the daily, as that is becoming a medium time frame for Bitcoin. So otherwise, I don't see anything too concerning. The rally looks like it wants to continue, and targets are to $43,000 if it can get over 40,925. So let's take a look at a couple different coins. Let's look at Ethereum real quick here. So Ethereum, I was tinkering a little bit with fixed range, but what I'm looking at on Ethereum is we had a really nice bounce out of the golden pocket here, and then at the time, this was actually a swing failure pattern right here, and then up it went, and we took that to the highs there. And so Ethereum is still consolidating. I'm not too concerned with it at the moment. It's just in this rising channel. It's really well respected, you can see. And I really want to see 1250 taken out. If we can take out 1250, which you can see we've tapped once, twice, and coming up possibly for a third time, I think that we can see this weekly at 1350. I think if we get through 1350, we're so close to all-time highs at that point that more than likely we're going to make them. I really think that as long as we're just holding this area as support, will be fine. Now you do have, I've seen people in the group call this an ascending triangle. I've seen people call it other things. You have kind of one of these looks to it, so that is a little bit of a like a triangle there, but then you could also extrapolate that maybe this is a bit of a diamond, or however you want to look at it. You know, it'd be really unsymmetrical, and I don't really necessarily like it. I got a message about that, but what you need to note is that you have contracting price action here, so you are going to get a move. You've got, you know, much smaller ranges coming, and as this thing squeezes into this area, we're either going to get that move down, and I do think that we have our other 618 right here at about 1025 to 1042, with R2 support coming in about 940 if it fell through that. So beneath that is your 10-day here at 911, so this would be the next area of interest if the $1,000 to $1,050 area didn't hold. That'd just be where I was interested in. So, but with the monthly support here at 1124 coming in beneath it, you've got this little golden pocket, you've got your demand line coming in as well. I would expect Ethereum to potentially continue the move up from there. I like Ethereum long term, you guys know that, and so until there is a reversal on a high time frame like a daily, I'm really not interested in trading it any other way but long. I'm not really interested in day trading Ethereum either. I just want to try to get a good position. So one thing we were talking about today in the group was REN, was talking about that with RL. I had done a piece on REN. You guys know that I identified this as the resistance to get through at the weeklies. Everybody was so quick to say this is going to all-time highs, and it might be, but I said we still have to take resistances for what they are, take it one step at a time. It did have this breakout here. This is a lower time frame, but you can see it smashed right into the weeklies here. A little box of goodness so that you guys know where the target was. Basically right up to this weekly, down back into the box, and is trying to make its way through. So if it makes its way through, our next target was going to be to the monthly, right? Monthly is at 52.799 cents. Now I did make the comment in the group to RL about it and said, you know, I think that if we get to the monthly, it's probably a foregone conclusion that we are going to eventually take this 59.8 cent high and make a move higher from there, and I stand by that, but that doesn't mean I won't at least take a few profits here and then hedge against, you know, a rejection and not taking the highs, because there's nothing guaranteed out of all of that. So yeah, that's what I got for you on REN. Let's look at XRP as well. That was one that I've gotten a few messages about, so post this in the group. And I hate how all my fixed ranges kind of carry over. I don't know what's going on with TradingView lately, but it's been kind of driving me nuts. I realize that I'm still in log here, but that's okay. So this was your order block to close above right here. We identified it on Bitstamp. This is just a cleaner chart, and this is your hopium demand line. Whether this is a descending triangle, which I'm not really in love with the formation, but I'm also not in love with this pennant. You know, either way, what we're doing is we're just being patient with this one. I'm not taking any long-term positions in XRP, as I feel like there are better opportunities right now. Now, does that mean that I won't jump into XRP if I see a break of structure to the upside? No. I will. I'll day trade it as well. The day trading ranges have been absolutely wonderful, but needs to close this weekly above this order block, and that is this guy right here that we'd identified. This is the OB to close above. We start closing weeklies above that and holding it as a support, and I would look at this as potentially to be some form of reaccumulation, and you guys know that I was looking at the potential of a low time frame bump and run from this high, and if that is the case, a break of that structure would give you a 78 cents target. But since you are out of that target and out of this demand line right here on a closing basis, maybe it back tests it, I would be looking up to this golden pocket region, which is going to be between 91 cents and $1.22. So that would be my next big area of interest should it break to the top side. Is that all-time highs? Not necessarily. Does it mean it's going to stop there? I don't know. That answer I don't have. But you can see now that our reaccumulation range that has been right here for so long, we've been talking about how this has been the macro accumulation range. If we come up here and we just look at the 50% at 61.5 cents, and on Bybit, this is going to be 62.2 cents. That's the POC of the old range. Look at this. You've got basically your high right here. You're accumulating, came back up. You've hit it again. Coming back up would start to look more like this. You would have a different pattern going on, guys, and it would look more like a cup. And I wouldn't call it a handle. I would call it a V-shaped bottom here. Sorry, I am one of the worst artists on YouTube probably and in the crypto space. But then what would you have here? You'd have a nice double bottom. So that would be what I'd be looking at on XRP. So if you're monitoring that and you want to be bullish, that is your hopium on the weekly time frame. You do need to close above this. You do need to continue to rise in price, but if it came back down into here, into this range again, it's all well and fine as long as it's in the range, putting in constructive price action, and it isn't selling off and breaking this demand line. I do think breaking this demand line and re-losing any of this structure would be more or less macro bad. You could take the chance of buying into this 14 to 11 cent demand area that XRP has had for years now. But I do want to exercise caution at that point because I do think that if you revisit this area, while there will be a bounce, I'm not so convinced that this bounce won't just lead to a further sell-off into that 2 to 4 cent area. So for me, I want to see XRP reaccumulate and do its thing sooner rather than later. I don't think that this is a coin that has the... I mean, I guess if you look at this pattern, it really could fill out all the way into 21, but not something I want to look at, but I guess it would be quite the squeeze, and this would be quite the range to play. But that's neither here nor there. If we take a look at it on Bybit, our actual day trading ranges, this has been our day trading range, and you can see that all these levels are very, very well respected, including the point of control that was coming in here at the daily, which we've shown before. You can see that you have a tightening formation here. I saw someone trying to call this a descending triangle, and that you can make the argument for that. You do have flat bottom here at the bi-monthly support at 29.52 cents, so a break of 29.52 cents to the downside would look fairly, not bad, but I do think that you'd probably come back down and potentially retest 25.82 cents. Anything below that, and you guys know our next region is the monthly. That was the region we wanted to see a closure above, which we got right here. Perfect back test twice, gave you 2 opportunities to get back in before we move all the way into the supply zone. Now it is working its way to the yearly pivot and through this daily. So what you do have is just a very, very clean potential pennant here. And I think that this is going to give you the next move. So if you are trading XRP, you could be buying support here. If you think XRP is going to break to the downside and that this is a descending triangle, you could be shorting these highs. As long as you have good risk management, I think that either play is sufficient. I'm not really trying to take positions on either one. I will tell you that if I had to pick, that is aggressive, and when we see that type of move, generally it denotes a move to the downside. You come down really hard like this. The only time we've seen a different one is here, but it still made a cross to the downside on momentum. It's hard to say it's a 1 hour chart. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. You do have that cross there, but you did here before a nice move up. That would be... I don't know that I like the look of it, but again, it's all going to come down to either a breakout to the upside, volume confirmed breakout, or a volume confirmed breakout to the downside here. You're getting a lot of indecision out of your indicators, so I don't really think they're going to be too helpful in this one. I would just be waiting for a break of this region, this little formation in either way. Now, you do give the edge to the bulls just because it's a continuation look, but again, these patterns like pennants and bull flags, they typically give you they give you a very slight edge. They don't really give you a huge edge. Now, we did talk about some hopium on the low time frames. You guys recall, this is that range I told you about where I said, hey, XRP has been stuck underneath this 61.5 cent or 62 cent level for so long. This is that region right here. That is the range. You can see that the weekly at 62.2 cents, that's actually your point of control, if I recall. I don't necessarily know that I have that range to pull up anymore. I think I deleted it, which was a bad idea, but I've shown it in so many videos, you guys can easily find it in any XRP video that I've probably shown. But yeah, this would look like a bump, and a run. That bump and run target would be the high here. It's also going to be your yearly R2, right? That would be your high at 78 cents. Anything above that, and you're targeting 91 cents, and then you are looking up to $1.22. So that is what I have for you on XRP. Not all hope is lost. In fact, this is kind of not that bad looking. You're flagging out above resistance. You just want to see that it holds and doesn't fall back within the range. If it falls back within the range, you could just consolidate a little bit longer. And as long as this range is intact, I don't necessarily see anything too bearish. But you do need to keep an eye on that demand line that was given to you in the last chart. So that's what I have for you on Bitcoin, REN, XRP, Ethereum. I do need to take a look at a few other altcoins, and we're 21 minutes in. What's another few minutes? Let's look at Algo and EOS, because we looked at EOS as well in the group independently. But I do want to look at Algo because that was one that we were actively trading, and I took my profits at 53 cents. If you guys recall, that was the target from previous videos. We had a not a massive sell-off, but a pretty decent sell-off here all the way down. Lost 22% off the final take profit. I was stopped out of any remaining position that I had open, and now you are finding resistance. So it's one of those where you want to see this continue to hold this old. I got so much going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of this off the chart. This is a messy one. Let's get rid of this 53 cent horizontal. And let's get rid of our pitchfork. We don't need this pitchfork anymore. So what we have done essentially here is move from one range into the next, tag the POC of this range. If you recall, that's where the point of control was coming in at. Front ran your golden pocket, and that's why we were front running the golden pocket, is because the point of control was coming in right here. So now you want to see about 43 cents hold. If you want to be very conservative, you could put it at the pivot here, which is the break of the old range. So this range high right here at 39 cents. You also have your pivot at 39.7 cents. So I would say 39.7 cents is kind of the line in the sand if I'm holding any algo long term, which I do have I have a little bag. I don't really have a big one, but you can see that you have lower highs still. So again, losing 43 cents would be an early warning sign, because one, you'd lose this market structure on the 4-hour basis. This would be coming down at that point, looking more head and shoulders-esque. Head and shoulders-esque off of, if it did something like this and this low was lost, you can see where I'm going with this, and then down back into the old range, and it would look like just one big pump and dump, which that's what altcoins do. They pump and then they dump, so that's why we take our profits. If this reaccumulates here, where's the next targets? Obviously into this golden pocket at 57 cents, but you have the weekly at 62 cents, daily at 66, and then 69 cents is the top of the range, and those would be the next areas of interest. Should this reaccumulate right here, hold the range and move up. So that's what I have for you on Algo as well. I did get some comments that were asking for certain coins. I'll see if I can't get to those. If you're not in the free group, let me know. But I am giving the edge to this being one of those things where it's going to be all dependent on Bitcoin. You guys know that if Bitcoin dumps, these are going to go ahead and shit themselves. That's what they do. And Bitcoin currently is finding another rejection at this area, as you can see, off the 40.925 level. So again, the range continues, and we just kind of ride out that support. And I think that a loss of this level on a formal closing basis right here could tell us, and that's basically your previous day value area low. You know, that 39K level, 38.5 I think is what we were calling it. If we lose 38.5, again looking down to 36, anything underneath that, and you've got the weekly open and golden pocket coming in that 33 give or take 1,000 level. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the update. I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm going to get active in the group this morning, maybe get the dogs out for a walk, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys, and have a great weekend.